how to learn chess. So if you know your goal, you can come there. And this is the most basic, the first lesson I give to my students, and that is basically the first thing you need to learn in chess. This is where do you want to come, what is your goal, what is your target, what is your outcome, and then you can see the ways there. And if you don't know your target, if you don't know your goal, you can't come there. This is just motion. This is why we learn chess, so pay attention. We learn chess from the end to the beginning. You know the final position, and your brain can find multiple ways to go there. So I give you a couple of examples because chess loves examples. This position, you can pause video and what you do if you play black. And okay, I hope you paused the video and already paid attention. And basically, if you don't know theoretical positions, you will never spot the idea of to play this one. And if she takes, no matter how many pawns, this is bishop, and this is theoretical draw. If you move the king, we take the pawn. If he takes, this is draw because the bishop is on cover. If it were black cover, we can push out the king from the corner, but in this situation, just to illustrate you, because not all of you may know this position, it's stalemate. So there is no way to push the king out without stalemate, it's just a draw. And if you don't know the final position, you will never figure it out. It's just impossible. Okay, another position, just to illustrate you. This position, if you don't know theoretical positions, you'll never find the answer what to do as white, because basically it's just losing. You take, and you move your king, black has a position, 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 and this is very simple. King go to one way, you go to another way. This way, this way. So we took a position, the king is front of the pawn, not behind it, and king move to one side, we go to another. King move back, we take another position. King move to one side, we go to another side. Here, because we take a position and she goes black has a position. But if you know the final position and you know it's losing, you can find a styling move here for white, take a pause, and boom, fantastic move. Yeah, and the idea is after HHB, white has a position, and what happened? Yeah, king is still front of the pawn, but white has a position. So king, if it was white's move, yes, move to one side, move to another side, and win the game. But now there is no way to push the king away, and it's simply theoretical draw because white will always take a position. So again, it's only possible if you know the final position. You can figure it out. That's why it's important to learn from the end to the beginning. When you play middle game, you know typical end games where you want to come, and you can find the ways there. When you play your opening, you know typical middle games and even end games where do you want to come. That's why you play it well. Otherwise, everything is just motion. Okay. Next position, to illustrate you this one, I will share you. The last one is important. This position also a very nice position, black's move, and basically you can take a pause and think, maybe you'll figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so guys, in this position, if you play black, most likely you automatically just take the pawn, and it's theoretical draw because now you basically cannot progress much because even without rook e7 cutting off your king, but yeah, even without cutting your king, there is nothing to do because when you push your piece forward, just to illustrate whatever it is, just stay. You can push your king forward, doesn't matter. Let's say this. I will start to give you checks from behind. Like you move, and you can move forever in any direction. You have nothing to do in this position. Okay, I will go back, and if oops, this is loser. Yeah, only this. And if you push your pawns, I basically can give checks, but nothing happens. H4, H3, I will play king H2. And this, let's say this is a little trick. If I take your pawn, you play this and win the game. If I, yeah, but I will just stay and do nothing. And whenever your king goes, it will be deep bunch of checks again and again, and it's just dead draw. Okay? So basically, if you know all of that, you can find the win, which is, again, if you first time see this position, it's starting move for you, boom, f5. f6 is winning as well. f5, and the idea is you cannot take the pawn, I will play rook d1, a1. The idea now is very simple. We play f4, f3, let's say it stays, play f4, move rook, preventing f3, but the Kasparov rule, when opponent prevents you from your idea, what you do? You just do it anyway, f3. And the point is, if you take with the rook, I move my rook and promote the queen. If you take with the king, I can give you check and promote the queen, like this. And yeah. And if you just move your king to this side, I push my pawn and promote the queen. And if you if you play this side, I get a check. If you put your king here, there is a little trick. Take a pause, and I hope you pause the video and you could see it by yourself. Already see without pause. Boom. Threatening queen the pawn, and after take, check, takes, boom, take the rook and win the game. Okay, this are all the positions you can do absolutely nothing. You just make random moves without knowing where you want to come. This is just to illustrate to you the core principle of chess, which you have to learn first before anything else when you just a kid. Yeah. And probably you don't know it after 20 years. Okay, this position, I always show it to my students, and that is the point. I'm asking what you're going to do if you play white. And usually students, when they are just beginners, don't know what to do. But when people, when you are asking them what is the target and they kind of figure it out, G7 is weak point, they start to see the ways to G7. And what are ways to G7? Play this, play this, play this. Like an example, play this and bring the queen here, which just illustrate your random moves. Bring queen to G7. You see the target, you see multiple ways there. Yeah, my students played here H4, G4 a lot before figuring out this way. This is the way. One of the things I teach, you need to see tactical weaknesses, and in this way, tactical weaknesses, the king is always tactical weakness I'm trying to explain, queen is always tactical weakness, but the king is itself rarely tactical weakness. There are diagonals files toward the king, the rank, and also squares around the king. It's not exactly G8 square, rarely. If we just give somebody check and checkmate on G8, it's possible, but rarely. Most of the time, squares around the king. What is there with squares? G7, H7, G7, H8, H7, it's H6, F8, F7 also with squares. And we train to see the ways. This is absolutely, I love this position because we also can see this way to the G7 and H8 square, this diagonal. And this is why it's important, because our brain do not see this way because there are pawns. This is very important to notice these diagonals exist, and you can bring your pieces even through this diagonal. Why is it important? You are unlocking your brain to see possibilities which your brain basically won't see, because for the brain these diagonals do not exist. Then this way, and this way. Important here, this practically important this way, because yeah, it's this is the way to G7, and we don't see it because there is G6 pawn, this pawn. This way, we don't see this way to G7 square, let's say, H7 squares, and even F7 squares, because there is the pawn, and we don't see, let's say, H8 square, because there is the pawns. Yeah, and just to illustrate you the picture of the game, why is it important? let's say something like that will happen, and yeah, and let's say, okay, just take around the move. Uh, what may happen with the chase square, let's say, yeah, which we might not see. There is square 6, but let me set up the position. Yeah, a chase is also a potential target for some combinations. Okay, that's how do we attack h6, h7, h8, h7. Uh, an example. What may happen? Like, let me just just make some moves which do not make sense. But yeah, let's say let's say this position is to illustrate you. Yes, we can. We don't see g7 square because there is pawn. Yes, we do not see that, and there is this possibility, and pawn move to somewhere, and we simply break queen to g7 and checkmate. Just to illustrate the possibilities which we don't see, because for the brain there is no this file to attack g7 because there is pawn. But there are multiple possibilities to do that. And let's say just to set your position, let's say this, and let's say this. Okay, just for the glory, a little bit, yeah, like this, this. Oops. Okay, let's make it more beautiful. Is it working? Not really. King has to be on G8. Uh, King has to be on G8. King is 7, G5, King G8. Yeah, is it working? I just want to show you some more advanced tricks. Yeah. Okay. Takes Queen 7. Yeah. And again, we see the way to G7 through this way. And now, basically, to avoid checkmate, he has to sacrifice the queen and the rook, and finally we still checkmate on this square. Let's have it this, and G7 checkmate. Okay. So that's the power of seeing the ways, and basically this is another potential weakness. Like, you have this plan also, like if you let's say for some reason you cannot checkmate g7, yes, you also have ability to bring your pieces to checkmate h7. But all of these ways exist because you understand where do you want to go. Otherwise, it's just emotion, guys. And this is the most basic lesson you need to learn this first. And try to notice tactical weaknesses, try to notice your targets, and multiple ways to them without seeing obstacles on the way.